brief history of MathLeap. I started working on this last September. We launched this past January, at the end of January. In February, we won the demo competition at Startup Week Portland. This month, we've reached 3,000 users, and so we're growing a lot. I am actively looking for someone to work on with this, so if you're really, really smart, the best at whatever it is that you do, and if what you see excites you, then I'm really interested in speaking with you. So MathLeap is really simple. It's just online math assignments, but how we differentiate ourselves from other programs like Khan Academy, like IXL, MathXL. There are a bunch of automated grading solutions, but they're mostly glorified question and answer databases. They don't help students understand what they're doing wrong because they don't let students show their work. And what I mean by that is that it's multiple choice, Scantron, it's question, do your work off the platform, and then enter in your final answer, and we'll tell you binary, are you right or are you wrong? And so without further ado, I'll jump right in. So I'm going to get started as a teacher, and I will very briefly enter in some fake credentials. And I am a Linux user, so if I'm terrible at using this computer, I apologize in advance. Okay, so here we are in MathLeap. And so I see that to create a class, I'm a teacher right now, I can click the plus button below. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I don't know what that is. I can edit this class's name and say that this is my Algebra 1 class, and furthermore give it a color code so I can recognize it. I see here that there is a class code, which I can share with my students. There's a lot of concern around privacy in education, so apps don't want to have this sort of like invite people by email or social networks sort of thing. We give students a class's unique class code so that they can share with their students offline and then they can come. Okay, so here I have my class. I'll go ahead and click on it to create assignments and do submissions. I don't have any students yet. For now, we're just going to do the teacher experience. I'll go ahead and create an assignment. And so here I can see what we have is the assignment builder. There's a list of topics: arithmetic, fractions, equations, inequalities. I'll go ahead and click on one, and you can see that what pops up is sort of, we get to drill down to individual question types. And I'm going to select a couple of these for my assignment, maybe solving equations in one step with addition, maybe two variable manipulation, solving for one variable in terms of another, maybe an inequalities problem. And I can see a little graph here on the right that's showing me the composition of my assignment. I can increment and decrement the number of each of these questions so that I can have my assignment in the composition that I desire. So that looks good to me. I'll go ahead and preview it. And so what I can see here is that MathLeap has generated for me all of the questions that I need for my assignment. And that looks good. It looks like we have one that can be solved in one step with addition, two that are having two variables, and one that's an inequality. Maybe just for brevity, I'll make it one. Okay, so I can set the date that it's due and assign this, and here I see my problem set. I'm not going to assign as a student, but I'll try it. We have a mode for teachers to try the assignment before their students see it. Okay, so we're jumping right in, and so here I see the MathLeap problem editor, which is where I show all my work. You can see here a history column that will log the operations that I perform in the problem, and a results column where I actively modify the question, and I see the results of each of the steps. So for this problem, I'll go ahead and there's also a question list over here, which shows all the questions in my assignment. There's a little tutorial here that I can click through if I want to learn more about using this, and there's also some more full documentation. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and subtract 23 from each side, and MathLeap, I don't know if you guys saw, but it recognized that I was subtracting for both sides, and we got a little message up there. So I'll go ahead and commit that by hitting enter, and so I can see here's the step that I performed, and here was the result, and it's rendered in LaTeX, which is really nice. I'll go ahead and, that does not work like my computer works. Okay. I'll go ahead and cancel these terms out, 23 minus 23. And so I can see, again, here it's showing a visual diff of what I did in the step. And what's great about that is that students can see that MathLeap is actually understanding the work that they're doing and responding to it. Typing math into this text box, it's hard to know if the program is actually recognizing the work that you do, and a visual diff lets you see that. Okay, so 38 minus 23 is 15, and so I'll enter that, and you can see that we got a different color for replacing, and so that's great. So let's go ahead and move to the next problem, and I'm told to solve for B in terms of A, and so for this one, I will add 22A to each side. I will, cancel out this plus 22A with this minus 22A. Just like that. And I'll just leave it like that to show you what MathLeap says if we haven't completely simplified the problem. For this last one, I'll make a real mistake. I'll multiply each side by 4, and then replace this with Z. And then this guy here, I will say that negative 6 times 4 is 24 instead of what it actually is, which is negative 24. And go ahead and submit my assignment. So now MathLeap's thinking for a little bit. It's thinking, it's looking at the student work. And then voila, what I see is that I got the first question right. And the second question, I didn't necessarily do anything wrong, but I didn't simplify the problem completely. In the third question, MathLeap is able to pinpoint exactly the mistake that I made. And that's much more powerful than just telling students if they're very wrong.
How are you getting adoption with this? Are you targeting K-12 and schools that need stuff like this?
Yeah.
How are you convincing people?
So, we are running a beta in a school district. That's when we launched in January. There's an online marketplace called Edmodo where teachers have their class data already and they're looking for software for their classes. And good automated grading that solves a huge teacher problem. So we've actually, in a short 2 months, gone from 0 to 3,000 users, which is, at least for me, it was surprising enough for me to make me quit my job leading an engineering team at Mozilla last month and start doing this full time.
What's your stack? What are you developing?
So there's no backend right now. It's all Firebase, and then front end. It's JavaScript. It's all ES6. Compiled with Babel, Browserify for the browser. All the memory-intensive stuff like the math work happens in WebWorker. There's a really cool library that one of my colleagues at Mozilla actually made called JSON, which is like Bison, the parser generator for JavaScript, and so we're using that for a lot of the math language stuff.
So it's a cool program, but is it only for straight across equations? What about word problems?
Yeah, so word problems aren't something that we've gotten into yet. So initially, I wanted it to be the sort of thing where teachers could bring their own problems onto MathLeap, and we could be flexible in sort of pulling in content from other repositories. So far, we've generated all of our content, but for word problems, pulling from another question repository, there are problems with that, or problems to be solved. And so if it's just straight equations and inequalities, that's really easy. Word problems are definitely something that we want to do for stuff that we generate ourselves. We just haven't gotten there yet.
Do you have more complex, or plans to support more complex formulas in there, like in an equation editor kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. I think that something that we're working on today is releasing content for logarithms and exponents, which requires applying more complex functions than adding to both sides or subtracting from both sides. And so it's definitely something that we're working on. In terms of the content.
Go ahead, finish your answer.
In terms of if we're expanding up to calculus or differential equations, it's definitely something that we've thought about, but not we're still trying to get feedback and figure out where to go next.
Thank you very much. Give it up.